Right, well, a quick cough to get that out of the way. Hello everybody, I am El Bristow, welcome back to Elitopia Gaming and welcome back to KSP Live. We had a good stream last week. We have been looking at the contracts to visit Duna and Eve. I believe, last week we completed the contract to land us on Eve. Someone's just got blocked in the chat. Hold on a moment. Let's permit. There we go. Apologies for that one. It was just linking me to a retweet from the KSP guys. Sorry. Anyway, as I was saying, yes, last week we landed on Eve and managed to transmit some science from Eve. We still have this mission here, which is to do the same thing. Why can't you see my cursor? There it is. We still have this mission here to explore Duna. We need to land on Duna and transmit some scientific data from Duna. And we still have a couple of niggly little contracts, one on the moon, a couple on Minmus. What I would like to try and do is polish all those off today. And hopefully we can get onto something brand new. Now, our very lightweight... where is it? Our Q series launchers. Excuse me. These have been very handy in getting us to Eve and to Duna, and hopefully they will be handy again today in doing the same thing. We had no problem at all really landing on Eve, and we have a parachute, so we should have no problem landing on Duna either. We're still limited to 30 parts. We still have 30 parts on this craft. So we're going to try... Hopefully this will be the last time we launch this, and then we can start something completely new. I'm getting all tangled up in my cables here. So this is the Q4, the QIV, which was successful in last week's stream. With this exact... No, not this exact configuration. It should be... something like that. Oh no, it's not something like that, is it? It should be something like that, because the parachute will be used. Oh, I don't know. It's probably like that. We'll come to that as we get there, I think. So it's still the Q4 because we're not actually changing any actual parts. I tell you, we'll give it a new name and not save it. So this will be the Q4B. And we will just send this straight out to the launch pad, straight into the action. We are heading to Duna. Now, I have to try and remember the correct transfer procedure for Duna. I'll have to watch this on YouTube later. YouTube at a later time. I'll see you later. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Templar Elf, but indeed, if you have to go, you got to go. So, indeed, you can catch this on YouTube later. Feel free to check out my YouTube channel if you're not watching this on YouTube at the moment. youtube.com/ElitopiaMC. Where is Duna? Duna is over there. So it's a bit far ahead of us, so we need to catch up with it a bit. There's the Popsicle 2 still doing its rounds. Let's speed us up. We need to catch up to Duna. I believe... I can't really remember, but I believe it's kind of like a wedge shape that we need to get to Duna. Something like that. That's the ideal transfer. Still the Q2 being sent off into the middle of nowhere there. That's the Q4 and the Q3 both landed on Eve currently. One successfully, one less so. I think it's something like that to get to Duna. So let's zoom in and see whereabouts on the planet we are. We are there. So let's think, how do we want to do this? We'll do a daytime launch. We'll bring it around here. And then hopefully we'll be burning somewhere where we can kind of drop behind and head out to Duna. Okay, so back to the launch pad. There it is, the Q4B, or the QIVB, depending on how you read that. SAS is going on, throttle is going up, and we are going straight into a launch. Hopefully it will be an efficient one. Here we go. Those jet engines firing up. Hopefully it's not too loud for you this week. I've been playing around with the volume controls to try and fix that for you. Come on. There we go. We are away. Up into the air. I realise it is getting a little bit repetitive. Keep seeing this thing taking off. But it's such an efficient craft. If it works, use it, I think is the appropriate statement. So I am going to use it because it does indeed work. I don't know if I get some weird followers on Twitter. Sorry, I was just checking my Twitter feed. Yes, get some very strange followers on Twitter. Excuse me. So we had to take this quite high before we start our gravity turn. Probably until these engines are just about to cut out. Otherwise, we find that our prograde marker it drops a bit too quickly. Did you know you can use SRBs? Yes, we can use SRBs, but I have had a bit of a play around and had a number of epic failures with the SRB version of this particular craft. This works. I'm sticking with it, as I said just now. I do believe that this is a slightly more efficient way of doing this, bearing in mind that these tanks are virtually empty when we take off. They only have like this much fuel in them, so they're extremely light. So the thrust to weight on this engine and engine, air intake and fuel tank combo is very, very low. The thrust to weight is very high. In fact, I could make those tanks, I could use smaller tanks because I don't need anything like as much fuel as they carry, which would make it even lighter. But then attaching these starts to look a bit odd. So it's more for looks at this point. 8,000 meters we're at, and coming up on 100 meters per second, which is not ideal. Not ideal. We want to be doing faster than that. Hopefully, we will start picking up speed a lot quicker very soon as the atmosphere starts to thin. We are coming up at 11,000. I believe these engines cut out at about 13,000, 14,000. I'm going to go... We'll start our turn at about 12, I think, 12 and a half, which is coming up here. So let's start turning very slowly. And we'll see when these engines cut out on us. Very slowly. See, our prograde marker drops much quicker. Right, those engines are starting to die, so I'm switching. And there we go, we are speeding up very quickly now. Indeed, it does not follow the first law of Werner von Kerman with more boosters. However, when you're running on hard mode with 1,000 times, 1,000% penalties, you have to take some poetic license with the the laws of Kerbal Space Program. These haven't actually flamed out. They're actually going to run out of fuel, I think. No, there they go. Yeah, they flamed out. Exactly as I was saying that they hadn't done. That was very close. But there we go. Fortunately, we recovered from that one relatively quickly. Pulled us slightly off target, but not terribly. We're okay. We are heading in the right direction, and our apoapsis is certainly heading in the right direction. We can slow down our thrust. We are coming up on the apoapsis that we're after. I think I've been doing it to about 85, something like that, haven't I? For previous launches. That is 70 coming up. There we go. There's 70, so we're at least safe there. 75. I'm doing quite well this time, so I'm going to cut it at about 80. There we go. I think 81. There we go, because we will lose a little bit because we're still just inside the atmosphere. Cutting our engines, and we are drifting up to the Apo as we do. Last minute explosion. Yes, indeed. It was a last minute explosion. Okay, so speed up time. Let's head up to the Apo. There we go. Speed it up a bit more now that we're outside the atmosphere. Whoa, not too much. There we go. Make sure we are prograde. And give it a full wallop. Oh, they've just run out of fuel. That was good timing. Let's get rid of them. Not really what I had in mind, but never mind. We are going to get into orbit with this. Boink, there it is. We are in orbit. And a fairly circular, almost circular, we're out by 10,000 metres, 10 kilometres, but that's not bad. We are in orbit. So, now we need to start having a look at getting to Duna. So let's set Duna as our target. Excuse me. I wonder if we could potentially pass Ike at the same time. That could be an interesting endeavour. Do kind of a flyby or even an orbit of Ike at the same time. I reckon that's probable. It's possible. But I also want to make sure that we've got enough fuel to actually land on Duna. So yeah. That's a trickier prospect. So what's the objective? Our objective is to land on Duna. We did Eve last week. Duna is our outstanding contract, so that's where we are heading. Whoops, come back. Come back, come back, come back. There we go. And burn. We're going to burn out from behind the planet. Actually, that's probably the wrong way, isn't it? That was a bit foolish, really. Oh well, never mind. Should have burnt that way, so we were going ahead of the planet. And then our Apo would have gone... Yeah, oh well, never mind. Watch the Apo go out. Oh. There we go. Okay, so we are going to drop behind Kerbin in the orbit. Here we go. Escaping. Off we go. Managed to avoid the moon and avoid Minmus on this occasion. just about managed to miss Minmus. Come on. Once we've left the influence, we can... There we go. Come on. Oh, really? Yeah, okay, there we go. We just about left the influence of Kerbin. Now, how do we get to Duna from here? What's the difference? Is there... Yeah, there's not really much of a difference in thingamawatsit. So, let's see what kind of burn we need to get to Duna. Yeah, that's pretty close straight away. Why is that green? That's not normally green. Ah, we have some issues because we're kind of skimming the influence of Kerbin as we go. We need to burn a bit, like, straight away. Before, yeah, because look, we're going to fly through the influence of Kerbin and kind of slingshot off Kerbin at this rate. Not that that's a bad thing, but I think that's actually going to slow us down, isn't it? We really should have... I bet we've launched too late. Oh no, no, no. There. Ooh. Come on, where is it? Where is it? There's a rendezvous here somewhere. Oh, it's so close. Come on. There, what's that? How close is that? 44. Okay, 44 kilometers away. If there's anything we can do to... In fact, it wasn't 44 kilometers, was it? It was like 44 megameters or whatever you call them. That's 25. Okay, so we've got some kind of rendezvous possible if we burn around there somewhere. Should start making rescue craft. Well, these don't need rescue crafts, these particular ones, because they're unmanned probes. We don't need to rescue them. But we do have some rescues that we need to do. We need to rescue the guys that we've got around the moon. Right, let's get us... I think we do... Do we influence? Not quite. Not quite. Okay, so it's a 38-second burn. Let's not skip past it. Let's get ourselves pointing at the target, which is just prograde. And we will speed time up a little. What's that? 15, 18, 19, 19 seconds. T minus 19 seconds is where we want to burn. 23, 22, 21, 20, 19. So there we go. 38-second burn. Loads of fuel for this. Good. Now, we know we're in the right place. So, we need to... When we get near the end of this burn, I'm going to cut it and then we'll do it gently. Without the manoeuvre node. Oh, okay. I kind of went... Oh, dear. Okay. Kind of went past That's really... I hate it when it does that. Do we need to burn past it, or... I've no idea. I think what we need to do is come away from curbing a bit, because I think it's curbing that's interfering. Hey there, Harvey. Welcome, welcome. Welcome back. There we go. So, yeah, it's a very weird... This is very weird. I really don't know what to do with this. It's just flickering everywhere because we've got kind of a flyby. Usually captures you even when it glitches around like that. Also, I usually limit thrust so I can be more precise. Yeah, I will limit thrust once we get to... Well, I suppose we can do that now, can't we? I think we did it to about 30% last time. Hey there, Invisible. The Invisible One. You are not invisible, I can see you. I can see you in the chat. Let's hope. No, see? It's so close. It's so close. Right, we're going to have to just go around there and hope that we've got it. Otherwise, we've got quite a wait until it actually gets there. It's a 29 megameter Perry, so that's not terrible. Let's just hope it does actually capture us. I think it will. I think it will. We'll just have to use a bit more fuel to get us into a error braking, or litho braking. You have to use a bit more fuel to get us into orbit so that we can error brake. Here it comes. Oh, it's stabled out. Right, it's stabilized out. So if we can do an adjustment, let's do it as early as possible. And it will be here on this timeline. 29, 33, 20, 15, 13, 10, 6. About the same. Okay, so that's definitely going to improve our position as we fly in. Hopefully we can do kind of a collection of little burns as we come in. I'll tell you what, we don't even need that because we know we're pointing in the right direction because it's just that node. So let's just watch the Perry and burn until it's close enough. Preferably a bit faster than that. (19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, and 6.5 is about as close as we're going to get on that particular burn, and because we don't want to use up too much of our fuel. So, is there some way? How are we actually passing the planet? Let's see if we can see that at this point. Looks like we're above it. Excuse me. So we might be able to get even closer if we burn, what's that, 6.5, 2.9, 3.7, went too far, 2.2, 2.1. Yeah, it's something like that. So let's get us pointing there. There we go. I'm not sure that focusing the view on Duna actually works in this instance. Oh, it does. Okay. It's just a bit tricky to work out where you're actually facing. There we go. So let's bring that down. Don't need the maneuver node anymore. Thank you very much. That's got to be about as close as that's going to get. Hey there, Kerboa. Welcome, welcome. So, we want to burn... What's that way? Is it that one? No, it's the opposite. Okay. The blue one with the dot. That's how I know that one. I'm technical, me. No, that's the blue one without the dot. There's the blue one with the dot. Pro blue, as opposed to retro blue. Which major mods are you running? I have no major mods running. We are only running... we're only running vanilla, but we are running hard mode with 1000% penalties. What's the... I've got to remember what the atmosphere level of Duna is. It is 50,000 and it's 0.2, so we need to dip in quite deep. Yeah, as in hard. As in we're landing on Duna with a craft made from 30 parts. 30,000, is that deep enough for Duna? For a landing on Duna? Meh, we can go deeper. Whoa, okay, not that deep. Not that deep. And not that shallow. Whoops, my thrust limiter is obviously not low enough. Well, we're gonna reach Duna, aren't we? So let's speed ourselves up until we get to Duna. Let's watch our craft for this bit. I am using the and we've missed it. We've missed it completely. I hate when that happens. Right. So, from here, we need to do a major manoeuvre. No, not that way. That way. A bit much. Oh. 5, 6, come on. 32. It's terrible. Okay. Yeah, I do hate floating points. I shouldn't have walked through the SOI, I know. Well, Kabawa, if you are unhappy with the stream, you are more than welcome to take your leave. You will not find any arguments from myself. But yes, we will try not to warp through the SOI. I wish they would fix that bug. Fortunately, we have plenty of fuel. Get a bit of an Ike flyby if we do that. Kind of be nice, but too much, but never mind. You enjoy hating things, okay. Well, in that case, be my guest to sit there and hate away, but as long as you do so in a peaceful manner, you are welcome to stay as long as you like. Right, so that's a 20,000 Perry. That'll do me. That should slow us down sufficiently. Let's get us a bit closer. Yeah, I know. They could, however, I don't know, somehow simulate the fixed point error. I don't know. The floating point error. I don't know. I don't know how they would do it. You know, I'm not a game developer. I'd like to be, but I'm not. Right. We must be coming into the atmosphere. Oh, not quite. Okay, fair enough. Coming under 70,000 though. Let's get ourselves retro. There goes the sun. Always, 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 always. Oh no. What's that glow then? Oh, that must be the atmosphere. Okay. I'll let it off. I was going to say we always land in darkness, but no. Looks like we're okay this time. And we are going to start entering the atmosphere. I haven't picked a landing spot or anything. I really don't care. But we have fuel. Oh, let's get our thrust limiter back up so that we can slow ourselves down if we need to. We still have a fair bit of fuel left. This is close, I know. But we are going for a landing rather than an orbit. We have a parachute, one parachute, and we have some engine. So, unless you have a quantum computer lying around, well, sadly I don't. Surely the guys at KSP, at Squad, have got a quantum computer by now. And no, I realise that is definitely not going to be the case. And we are going to be landing in the dark by the looks of it, even though the sun is shining on our planned landing spot. But there we go. As we drop, we are going to lose the sun behind the horizon. What a pain. Always, as I say, always landing in the dark. And with no radar altitude because it's an unmanned craft. It's a pain. What a pain. However, the atmosphere is not slowing us down particularly much, considering we are at a 20,000 metre altitude by now. Why are we not slowing down by very much? The atmosphere is just too light. So let's slow ourselves down. Ourselves. There we go. Now we're going to land. Did I see the eclipse on Friday? Sadly I didn't, because in my particular part of the country it was extremely cloudy on Friday, and it was a right pain because I got up nice and early to see it and you couldn't see a thing. But there you go. Such is life. Can't see everything. Yep. It was a particularly cloudy day. I think there was just like one big cloud over the entire planet, just so that no one could see it. I blame chemtrails. It was deliberate. They didn't want people seeing the eclipse. We're not really slowing down very much, are we? There's just like no atmosphere. We don't have a lot of fuel left either. Might not make this one. Eve was a lot easier. It's going to be a while before we actually come down as well, isn't it? So, oops. What? Go away. Oh dear. Right, come on. There we go. Right. So we're 18,000. Let's bring ourselves down until we start getting into marginally thicker atmosphere. Can't really see much, unfortunately. Try and keep us in that blue glow in the background. You see it? There it is. There it is. Nice and close. It is starting to slow us down now, which is good. Let's make sure that we stay retrograde. There is some atmosphere. If I pop the parachute now, will it actually deploy? I don't think it will it? No, but it will at some point. We won't be able to see it deploy unless I do this. I think we're going to have issues, aren't we? We're going to have issues. This is probably not going to work. Oh, the parachute has deployed. Okay. So that is starting to slow us down. That will at least pop at 500 meters so that we know when we are 500 meters above the ground. And we'll be able to see how far or how fast we are actually going at that point, so that we can hopefully slow ourselves down a bit more. But with this very thin atmosphere, oh, getting a bit of glow now, possibly a bit. Is that planet shine we're getting? I'm using the planet shine mod. As I said, only visual mods we're using. But there we go. At least we can kind of see something below us. Yeah, we're very low and we're going quite fast, but hopefully this parachute is going to pop in a moment. There it goes, and it didn't rip off, which is good. And it is slowing us down nicely. Let's turn our SAS off for the moment. Save a little bit of battery power because we're in the dark. 17, okay, we need to slow that down. Doink! Doink! Come on, stand up. Way! SAS is off. We landed on Duna. It was a bit of a hairy landing, I must say. But there we go. There is that part of the challenge. 50,625 funds and 135 reputation. And if we, where's it gone? Take a temperature scan. And transmit that for 28.8 science. There we go. We also get another 33,750 funds, 68 science and 68 reputation for completing that part of the contract. And the final contract completion, 263,998 funds and 622 reputation for successfully exploring Duna. And there's Ike up there as well, which is good. I wonder if we can, if we speed things up, can we see Ike wandering around? Does it do it from this way, or is it only... Yeah, there it is. Coming back down again. And going back up again. And coming back down again. And going back up again. And coming back down again. Because Ike is in a geosynchronous orbit around Duna, but has a slight inclination difference. So it's not an inclination difference. Sorry, it's slightly elliptical. So you see it wobbling up and down as you go around. That's been covered by Squad recently on their Facebook channel. So there we go. We have successfully landed on the red planet with Ike overhead. Now we ended up with 58 units of fuel left as well, which is pretty cool. So that contract is complete. We can leave this little probe here and go back to the Space Center, where we will have something like 1.3 million funds, nearly 1.4 million funds. Still not what we need, because we need to upgrade. What is it we need to upgrade? It's this one, isn't it? Yeah, 2.1 million funds to upgrade the vehicle assembly building. We need 5.1 million funds to upgrade the research and development building. Thoughts on Goebbels and the recent April Fool's Day prank? Well, there will be female Kerbals. I'm not sure it really classifies as an April Fool's Day prank, since it's not yet April. There are a couple of pranks around to do with the female Kerbals, but there are supposedly female Kerbals coming to KSP. I like the idea, you know. Well, I'm not opposed to the idea. I don't know whether it's really necessary, but in the interests of keeping the female players happy and the the feminist faction happy, then, you know, I'm all for it. You know, it's purely visual, really. It's not going to really make any difference to the gameplay, really. But there you go, you know. Anything that improves the game is fine by me. Now, do we want to try and do these Moon and Mimas missions, or do we want to have a look at what else we've got around? Temperature scans. Oh look, there's a landed at one. 24 science, 397 funds. Not a lot. Easy one to do though. Hydraulic detachment manifold. That's one of the decouplers, isn't it? We're being offered Bop, Gilly, Ike, and Jewel explore missions, so that will be one of our next missions. Planting a flag on Ike is being offered to us as well for 191,000. Well, plus that. You know, there's a lot of reputation and a lot of funds there for that. Also, a lot of penalties in the reputation department for failure there. Exploring Ike itself is a good payer. If we manage to land and transmit science from Ike. The drone that we're using would be quite capable of doing that. Thoughts on resources, multiplayer, and relays. Resources, love the idea. I have used Kethane, and then I used Carbonite when I was doing my my run through with the modular colonization system. Multiplayer, again, love it. I've tried the dark multiplayer mod. The dark multiplayer mod is iffy. But if they make it vanilla, then I'm sure that it will work a lot better than DMP works. So I'm looking forward to that. I will probably run a server when it does when the multiplayer does go vanilla. We will have an Elitopia KSP server for that. Relays, I assume by that you mean the likes of remote tech. Again, love the idea. I love realism mods. I love anything that makes the game more real. So I'm looking forward to the atmospheric changes and the drag changes that they're bringing in with 1.0. And the relays, I like the idea of communication relays. As you know, if you take a look at my YouTube channel, you'll see the videos that I did with all that, setting up satellites and things like that. I love all that kind of thing. I'm not using mods on this particular series because I'm waiting for 1.0. Once 1.0 arrives, we'll start a series with, well, we'll upgrade this save game to 1.0, and then we might have a look at adding some extra mods as they become 1.0 compatible. Because I feel like 1.0 is just around the corner, and I don't want to. It seems like every major update that there's been, we have to kind of sacrifice the save game and start again, or make some kind of sacrifices to be able to continue playing with this live stream. So I'm holding off this time. I don't want to put the mods into this particular save game until we get to 1.0. And then if we lose mods, it's only visual mods that we lose. We don't lose any gameplay from it. And then as the mods update, we can add those in as we go along. They keep going back and forth on their official statement regarding these features, though, don't they? Well, they not really. If you watch the blog, the KSP or the Squad blog, they're quite public about the state of some of these features. I believe resources is in Q&A by now. Multiplayer, there is a bit of back and forth about multiplayer. Not too sure on that one. Communication relays, they haven't actually said that they're going to add anything like remote tech at this point. I'd like to see it as vanilla, but if they don't add it, then, as I say, once we get to 1.0 and remote tech gets updated... Oh, I can bash my shredder under my desk. Yeah, once remote tech gets updated to 1.0, then I will be looking at adding that back in, because I do really like the idea of remote tech. Anyway, that's enough of all that. Like, we're just sitting here looking at the contract screen. So 1.4 million. We need 2.1 million. So we are 700,000 shy of what we need. We need to get two temperature scans from the surface of Minmus, and we need to get a crew report below 9,000 meters on the moon. Now, a crew report on the moon is a tricky one, and we do need to do some rescue vehicles. Let's have a look at who we've got at the moon. Oh, well, yeah, I suppose in that sense it is a bit back and forth, but they never officially announced that it would be a feature and then removed it. So there's not been any back and forth in that sense. But yes, there has been some back and forth as to whether or not they plan to add it as a feature. But once they decided that they were definitely adding it as a feature, then it has been a feature ever since, and it's staying that way by the looks of things. So we have 3 stranded Kerbals. We have 2 in orbit and 1 landed. We need to try and rescue these guys. I think that should be our next mission, really. I don't think that we excuse me. I don't think we need to worry too much about is there any of this debris that I can clear out? Nope. Don't need to worry too much about the moon and Minmus scan missions. We've got plenty of time before they expire and the penalties kick in. I think we're going to have a look at a rescue mission. Now, a good question would be, would a craft like this be sufficient to launch a Kerbal? Now, this currently weighs 25.5 tons. If we change the root part to this fuel tank, there we go, and then remove that lot, then put a command pod on there. That makes it 26.1 tons. Excuse me. It is slightly heavier. And actually we haven't got all the parts that we need on there because we haven't got a parachute for return. And we haven't got an antenna. Not that we don't really need an antenna. But then that's only a one-man craft again, isn't it? We don't actually have the three-man pod available yet. So can we send this? What if we do this? Hang on. Hang on. If we send, don't need the thermometer. If we sent something like that unmanned, 26.3 tons. That's not a lot heavier, but it is enough heavier for it not to launch, isn't it? And we would probably need RCS and all that kind of stuff on here for rendezvous maneuvers. Thoughts on their stance towards community bug reports. I think it was handled rather poorly personally. Simply preventing people who submit subpar reports from making reports in the future would solve the issue they had. I can't really comment on that particular issue because I haven't experienced it myself. I mean, it sounds like it was handled poorly. But I've not really. I didn't submit any community bug reports. I don't feel that that I've spotted any major bugs that need to be reported, in my experience. 25.2 like that, without those extra bits of fuel on the top. I wonder if that would be enough. If that would do it. That would make us lighter during launch, so these would still be okay. Then they detach, that means these would be more efficient. This is tricky without Kerbal Engineer. But that, in theory, would be a successful rescue craft, wouldn't it? We don't really need anything else on it. Although we do kind of need RCS, don't we? That's 27 parts. We haven't got enough available parts to add RCS as well. Or do we just rely on the RCS of the Kerbal? We might have to. 3 parts. What can we do with 3 parts? It would involve RCS. We could put 2 of these on. Like something like that. That would give us some manoeuvrability, and that's got some RCS in it. I mean, we've got 1 part left, so we could add an RCS tank. Excuse me. RCS tanks have we got? We've only got the Diddy one, haven't we? Oh no, that's not Diddy. So if I do that, puts us back to 26 tons though. Don't need it full. 25.6 kind of defeats the object though, doesn't it? There's 10 in there and 50 in there. There's no smaller RCS tank, is there? Oh yeah, we could use... They hold 60, don't they? We haven't unlocked them yet, but let's do that. I mean, this will make us slightly unbalanced. But then our SAS should be able to cope with that. $60. 25.6 tons. If we make that, okay, 48, 25.5. So that's the weight we were when we took off last time. Only this time it's a passenger craft. I'm interested to see, even if this doesn't work, I'm interested to see how this performs. This is going to be the QV, the Q5, because it only costs 21,000 funds. So I would really like to know if this thing is sufficient as a moon recovery craft. So let's take it out to the launch pad and see what we get. Okay, so out on the launch pad with the QV. Now, technically, we probably should have made this the R, you know, an R name, because it is a different craft, but it's so similar to the Q probes, and it is launching. Oh, hold on. Yeah, it is launching unmanned. we didn't put a Kerbal in it by mistake. So it should. Oh, that's a new follower. That is Bobby. Thank you for the follow. Is the dress black or blue or gold or white? Yes, okay. I'm not answering that question. It was gold and white. Although officially, apparently, it wasn't. So, our SS is on, our throttle is up, and we are ready to launch this thing and see if we can get this to the moon to recover our guys. Let's see how this goes, shall we? Hopefully this thing will launch. What kind of thrust do we need to get this thing off the ground? It should be about 130. Ooh, 125, 127. Yeah. It's taking off. We're going. It's about the same weight as before, so slightly more wonky takeoff vector. As we speed up, hopefully that will correct itself. Sorry, thoughts on part count reduction mods like modular wings, parts and fairings. Why aren't they stock? Why are all the menu items fully modelled 3D items rather than sprites? The menu items being fully modelled 3D items, yes, I agree. That possibly is a waste of resources, because they don't move, they don't do anything, so they could just be sprites. Part count reduction mods, because of the way this particular career has gone, and we are struggling to launch with 30 parts and things like that, I actually quite like the part count issues that you have with the newer version of the career mode. So I'm just trying to correct our launch angle so that we're going a bit more straight up. The SAS is fighting against me a little bit because we're slightly unbalanced, but there we go. I think we're okay. Yeah, so I quite like the fact that that part count reduction mods aren't vanilla. However, having said that, I have used in previous games procedural fairings and things like that. I haven't used procedural wings or procedural tanks, because that feels a little bit cheaty to me, given the mechanics of the game as they stand. But as far as realism is concerned, of course you would just make one big tank rather than attaching 3 smaller ones to each other. So yeah, from a realism perspective, I would have to say that I'm all for the procedural systems, the part reduction systems. But for this particular game, this particular save game, the way we've handled this this career, they would not have been suitable. They would have made it just that little bit easier, which would have made it slightly less challenging. And I like the challenge. I like to have a bit of a challenge. Fuel's doing well. Coming up on 10,000 and coming up on 100 metres a second. There it is. So we'll do what we did last time, hopefully picking up a bit of extra speed before we get to about 12,000, and we'll start our turn at about 12,000, and then hopefully catch the craft before it goes into a nosedive. Here comes 12,000. Oh, okay, SAS really fighting against me. Wow, okay, yeah, SAS really fighting against me because of this slightly odd... Oh, where am I going? Now, Nevball's wrong. Okay, Nevball's not wrong. Wasted some fuel there. Those tanks are starting to die out on me. Let's get those going so that our prograde marker doesn't drop too far towards the horizon, and then hopefully we will catch this as we get the annoying burnout, which will be around here somewhere. Come on, burnout, where are you? Have at me. No, well, your thrust must be right low by now, so you're off. Off you go. Right. Okay, so now we're burning in the right direction. We are gaining altitude, we are gaining, our apoapsis is rising. Right, so a reminder that procedural parts limits the size and scale of parts you can create based on what you've unlocked in the tech tree, which is to say that unless you've unlocked a Rocket Max 64 tank, you can't make a tank that size. Yeah, okay, yeah, I understand that. So perhaps, I'm not saying that they are cheaty mods. I'm not saying that they shouldn't exist. They have their place. I haven't used them, so I don't really know the amount of advantage that they give you in a career like this. It's not really my place to say specifically. Those tanks have done. And that is an APO of about 81, so let's stop it there. That will drop slightly by the time we get up there because we're still in the atmosphere. Fuel is looking good. Getting to the moon shouldn't be too much of an issue. Well, it shouldn't be an issue at all, really. They're easier building, but nothing much else. Well, fair enough. As I say, having not used them myself, it's difficult for me to make a call on that. I'm all for things that make things more realistic, so I kind of think that the procedural approach is more realistic in this case, so yeah, go for it. I think I burnt a little bit late there. No matter, we will get into orbit. Getting to orbit is not going to be an issue. How successful our rendezvous at the moon is going to be is another matter. There we go, we're in orbit. Where's the moon? Moon's there, so our Apo's kind of in the wrong place, but fuel efficiency is not particularly an issue. Where is it? We need to burn about there somewhere, so let's go for there. I don't need to add a manoeuvre for this, I'm just... Whoa. Huh. Well, there you go. 464. 117. Oops. Collision course. That's a free return almost. That's interesting. It's not giving me an Apo or Perry. Whoa, there's an interesting path. There we go. That's a Perry of 7.5. Perry of 16, it's a bit better. There we go. So we're on an escape trajectory if we do that anyway, but we will be slowing ourselves down long before we escape, hopefully. That's quite an efficient burn, really, I think. It's a bit direct, but never mind. Okay. 14 minutes away for a 37-second burn, so that's T minus 18.5. We will start our burn. One, if I don't go past it. There we go. Get ourselves perfectly lined up again. 19, there it is. Let's burn. Come on, SAS, hold us. Woo, okay, no. Hold a steady, SAS, please. Just about, just about. I think we'll be doing some fine tweaking on this burn. Let's cut slightly early. Whoops. Did that wrong. Yeah, okay, I went too far. Let's thrust limit. Oh! That is a stream tip. That is from T Harvey 303. Thank you for that contribution. If I'm quite honest, I can't remember what I offered to people as a thank you bonus via stream tip. I believe I offered people the option of having a landing site, a Kerbal, or a craft named after them, or indeed having their flag placed on one of our missions. So if you would like us to organise that for you, then please do let me know, and I will be more than happy to do that for you. That is our first live stream tip donation, so thank you very much for that, T Harvey. 14,000 metres, there we go, that's a lovely periapsis. Thoughts on immersion enhancement mods such as Curbquake Atmospheric Enhancement, Probe Control Room, IVA, RCS and Rover Wheel Sounds and Raster Prop Monitor. Ooh, okay. That's quite a question. A lot of those I haven't really played around with. Curbquake I don't like the sound of. I haven't tried it, don't like the sound of it. Hang on. We've lost the moon. Come back, moon. What do we need to... We need to retro for that, don't we, I think? That's an overburn. Or are we really that close? Yeah, it was. It was an overburn. Okay, so 33. Meh. not what we wanted, but never mind. We can deal with that. Atmospheric enhancement. Well, I like FAR and the NEAR mods, but then they're going to become vanilla anyway. I like the Astronomer's Visual Enhancement pack. If you would like to donate $20 or more, I will gladly offer the reward of being able to name a Kerbal craft or landing site, or even have your own flag added to your craft. Right, okay, so I offered that on $20 or more. Okay, well, did I mention on there what the offer would be for contributions under $20? I really don't remember. I'm going to have to look myself. FAR Aero is vanilla now. Will be in shortly. Yes, it will be. I don't know which drag model they've used, whether they've used FAR's. I hope they haven't used FAR's drag model, because it's a little bit buggy. Oh, this is a really buggy approach. We will not warp across the SOI this time. Oh, as if. Come on. Don't do this to me. Burning retro. It is a retro burn at this point, still. What if it... No. It's not... Ah, okay. So maybe it's one of those. So let's try that. $43. $45. Okay. $29. Okay. Let's do a quick adjustment burn there then. It is basically FAR, but they coded it themselves. Okay, well hopefully it's not quite as punishing as FAR. I don't really like how dangerous FAR is. Mind you, I was using FAR with Deadly Re-entry, and the two of those can be quite lethal. So again, I don't know what atmospheric heat model they're going to be using necessarily. Whether that is... I don't think it's quite as punishing as the latest versions of Deadly Re-entry. Because Deadly Re-entry was getting really tough in the latest versions, and it made it a little bit unplayable. I had a lot of dying parachutes with the latest version of Deadly Re-entry. Let's get this as close as I can. Yeah, that'll do. It's close enough. So let's speed this up slightly. And then hopefully just tick over the... Ooh, look at that. Right, so periapsis of 23. Oh, and we're a bit low. So ideally, as we correct our periapsis, we also need to correct our inclination slightly. Correct our periapsis. What's that? Well, yeah, I'm not saying that parachutes should survive Mach 10 re-entry at 1,000 degrees. Obviously, if you're entering at Mach 10 with 1,000 degrees, then you deserve to have your parachutes burn off. What I mean is, I was deploying my parachutes at 10,000 meters at like, you know, with like 2 Gs of acceleration and or deceleration, I suppose, and at like 300 meters a second. Well, no, 600 meters a second, I suppose. And they would just rip straight off at 10,000 meters when the atmosphere is not particularly thick. So, you know, I think that it was slightly exaggerated. But I am no rocket scientist. So I could not tell you how accurate those calculations are. Yeah, I agree. Acceleration and deceleration are exactly the same thing, but you know, I'm just quoting it in terms that people will understand. Not everybody was good at physics. I wasn't particularly good at physics, if you're talking about school. Right, let's bring our apo, let's close that, let's bring our apo roughly into where this one is. There we go, that'll do. And then we can modify that and arrange some kind of rendezvous with that craft at some point. This has plenty of fuel, not plenty of fuel, but it has sufficient fuel. We will need to correct. I'll tell you what, let's actually set someone as a target. We are going the right way around the planet, aren't we? Let's just check that. Yeah. Going the right way around the planet for those. Okay. So let's set Herobrine 2 as a target. And there is our ascending node. Okay. So let's have an adjustment to correct that. Very, very twitchy controls. Twitchy, no pun intended. And as we do that, let's see. Oh no, that's okay. That's okay. So let's do that first. 11 seconds. How can that be an 11-second burn? I suppose it is. So it's T-minus 5.5. There we go, do it at T-minus 6 and then we can tweak if necessary. Not that it really makes a lot of difference, but boink. There we go. So, what's our distance? We are exactly opposite orbit. But if we do one of these, where is it? That one. 5 orbits. No. You might find that real shoots helps with that problem, and they only as they open slowly rather than all at once. Drag shoots are also nice. I tried. I tried real shoots. It didn't really make a huge amount of difference, but I possibly was doing that wrong. Thoughts on Ubiozia welding, another part reduction mod that allows the welding of multiple parts into single larger parts. I haven't tried it. I can't comment. The fact that massless parts actually reduce performance more than parts with mass, and therefore physics somehow. Massless parts actually reduce performance more than parts with mass. As in frame rate performance or performance of your craft? I'm not sure which approach you're taking now. Couldn't they fix that by giving all the parts a mass, which they should really have done already? Well, I mean, all parts do have a mass, but they don't have a calculated mass from the perspective of your launch or the aerodynamics and things like that. You can attach massless parts to the sides, and they won't affect the tilt of your vehicle and things like that. Even though in real life, of course, they would. A part made entirely of massless parts will shred itself. Yeah, I agree. There are some quite significant disadvantages to the idea of having massless parts. They should not really have had massless parts, in my opinion. But they did, and we work with it. In some cases, it's a mechanic that you can kind of play with, and you can come up with some quite interesting and funny, very Kerbal designs as a result. Now we're going to go past on this pass, aren't we? So was it on this pass? Hang on, if I had a manoeuvre there. Come on, let's get this right. Are we burning? It goes right the way around. So we could do something like that. But that's not really the intelligent way to do it. So instead we need to... How would you feel about the fact that the GUI is actually an object in the game world which can be crashed into if you bug out properly? Really? Really? I was totally unaware of that. Yeah, totally unaware of that. Right, it is the next orbit that we want to do our adjustment burn. So let's go. Oh, mind you, is it? Or do we just want to do it as we've gone past it here? Yeah, it is. It's here that we want to do it. We do it as we pass, do a correction burn, and then we can get our orbit into the right place. 62 kilometers is a bit far, isn't it? Yeah, if you have screenshots, then I will certainly permit you to share those links. In fact, let me do that now. If you have some screenshots and you can share those with us, I would love to see someone crashing into the GUI. We're a little bit... I think what we need to do is just push out, yeah. If we just push out Apo up just slightly. There we go. So that we've got the two maneuver, the two intersect point display. So that is the first intersect, yeah? Am I reading that right? Yeah, so first intersect there. So after the first intersect, if we burn, we can get a very close approach for the second intersect. Point 2. Yeah, it's going to take a slowdown burn, but okay. Well, if you find those screenshots though, do let me know, and we will certainly have a laugh at that one at Squad's expense. Right. Get ourselves point in prograde, and as we pass that, there we go, we can do a gentle burn. Loads of fuel. Oh, 0 kilometers. Well, there you go. We have a 0 kilometer rendezvous planned with that particular craft. I don't think we need to get anything like that close because we can do the transfer with RCS. It's already giving us the target point. Right. So how far away are we? 2 kilometers. So let's just start slowing ourselves down. Okay, I'm slowing us down too much. Let's get closer. 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 We're going to be getting pretty close. Yep. And there we go. We are getting very close. So if I can now, can I switch to it? Yes, I can. We're going to leave this. It has a little bit of fuel, but we're going to leave it. We're just going to bring Ribsy. We will leave this as debris. Come on, Ribsy. Get your RCS pack on. And head over to the QV. Oops, wrong way. Up a bit. Slow down. Slow down. Oh look, there's curbing coming up over the horizon. Slow it down. Grab. Board. Thank you, Ribsy. I hope I didn't leave any science in the Herobrine too. I don't think I did. So, there we go. We have... how do I unset target? I've forgotten. Unset target, there we go. We have got Ribsy aboard, and we're almost in a position where we can start our burn to leave the moon. We shall do that around here, and hopefully we've got enough fuel to get home again. Yeah, we got loads of fuel. Loads and loads of fuel. We can only save one Kerbal at a time, unfortunately. But one Kerbal is better than 0 Kerbals. Turn the RCS off. I don't know why I've still got the RCS on. Finished making your presentation. Well done. My hatred of KSP is equal to my love of it. Well, there you go. It is a love-hate relationship. That'll do us, I think. Let's leave the moon. Hopefully we'll be pretty much at our apoapsis. Okay, we've missed it slightly, but never mind. There we go. Bring us retro. And we will be burning back towards the planet. And we have plenty of fuel to help slow us down. Remind me to turn the thrust limiter off, or set it back to 100. Take this down to 30 odd. There you go, 31. Good enough. We have a parachute, we have some fuel. Let's turn the thrust limiter off. We've got electric charge, we've even got the monopropellant left. We didn't really need it. That was a remarkably successful rescue mission, assuming... Oh, okay, let's speed it up too much. Assuming we actually do manage to land, which I'm sure we will. There we go. Entering the atmosphere, get ourselves retrograde. Another nighttime approach. Typical. Speed things up, bring us in. Apo is dropping. We are heating up. This is my favourite part. I love re-entry. I will love it more. I will love it more when the heat actually means something. Whoop. Yes, yeah, I did. You must have missed it. I did set the thrust limiter to 100. Don't worry. We will be able to slow ourselves down. Let's untime out you. Slowing down nicely. Apo coming in. That was actually quite a gentle re-entry. Not bad, if I do say so myself. And there we go, landing facing that lovely galaxy haze from this skybox. Slowing down fast and not losing altitude fast, which is nice. I think that was an almost perfect re-entry. Now let's hope that we don't crash on landing. Land on a mountain or something stupid like that, like we've done before. If you didn't see that, by the way, check out my YouTube channel for... I've got the fastest moon landing ever, and there's another video in there for the most dangerous landing ever, where we landed on the side of a mountain at very high speeds. Check out my YouTube channel to have a look at those ones. So, come on, Ribsy. Nearly home. 23 kilometres from home. Well, depending on whereabouts you live on the planet. Where is the space centre, by the way? It's right the way around there. Okay, so you're slightly more than 23 kilometres away because you've got to kind of catch a plane back to the space centre. But there you go. Oh, parachute popped. Okay, I guess I activated the parachute. I don't remember doing that. Must have done that by accident. But that's slowing us down nicely. Oh, actually, of course, we do have an IVA this time. We have a radar altitude, so we can see how high we are. Plenty high. In fact, let's speed things up a bit. Because, well, you guys have seen this all before at this stage. Oops, wrong button. Looks like we've got a water landing. Yep, definitely a water landing. Let's turn the SAS off. Coming down. Waiting for the parachute to pop at 500. Here it comes. There we go. And that slows us to 16 meters a second. Meh, not bad. Loads of fuel to slow us down. Here we go. Gentle splash. And we are home. No crew report from here. No. We didn't take a thermometer with us, so we can't do a temperature scan from here. So, there we go. A successful recovery mission. Recover that vessel. We have recovered Ribsy Kerman. Fan Dabby Dozy. So, no, I mean, we didn't earn any funds or anything from that one. But we did earn some science. Recovery of a vessel returned from orbit around the moon. Okay. That must be the first time we've actually recovered a vessel from orbit around the moon. Fair enough. Recovered the funds, obviously, from the craft. And Ribsy Kerman gained 4 XP and advanced to level 1. There we go, for his orbit around the moon. And his return. Our reputation is now at 943. I'm a little bit confused about reputation because I'm fairly sure that we've been getting very large reputation boosts and our reputation hasn't really been going up very much. And we don't have any strategies that would really be affecting our reputation gain. But there you go. I would have thought we would have been over 1,000 by now, but perhaps that's not actually possible. I don't know. We have got a rescue mission. Oh look, there's a stack decoupler landed at now as well. Science data from space around Kerbin. Have we got anything in orbit around Kerbin at the moment? We should stick a probe in orbit around Kerbin, shouldn't we? Ooh, there's some interesting orbits being offered to us. Yeah, we have nothing in orbit around Kerbin at the moment. We really should put a satellite in orbit. Just to gather science for us as and when we need it. I mean, we should have a station in orbit, really, shouldn't we? But we haven't. I don't think we've actually unlocked any docking ports, have we? We could certainly afford to launch a science thingy, but yeah, we haven't unlocked any docking ports. So we can't start a space station yet. And to unlock the docking ports, we're going to need 5 odd million funds. 5.1 million funds. I mean, we could launch a processing lab with all the science stuff attached to it and then just kind of take people up and EVA them into it when we need to reset the science on things. Can't do it with a probe, can you? But it kind of would be... It would kind of defeat the object. Or would it? Is it worth doing? Like a temporary station. I don't know. Maybe we'll have a look at that for next week's stream. We'll have a look at putting a temporary station in orbit for picking up the, science in orbit around missions, and maybe look at doing a similar sort of thing for the Moon and Minmus. So that when we get those missions, we can just take the science and then reset the whatever mystery goo canister, because you can't use a thermometer at that altitude. So a materials bay or a mystery goo would be ideal. But yeah, I think we'll have a look at that next week. Speaking of which, I'm thinking we're at a good point, really, to kind of call this a day, because we've completed a contract. We've completed our Explore Duna contract. We haven't completed these ones, but we've recovered a guy from the Moon, so we know we can do that now. We've picked up some of the funds towards unlocking the upgrade to the vehicle assembly building, which will give us the extra parts and the action groups that we're going to need. And I think anything that we do from this point is going to be quite a long process, either designing and putting up a space station, or sending more recoveries, or picking up those last few parts of that contract for the Moon and the Minmus missions. So I think that we will probably pick that up in next week's stream, so that we can come at it fresh and do it for the whole stream if necessary. So on that note, if you're watching this on Twitch, thank you for watching, guys, and please don't forget to hit the follow button if you have enjoyed this stream. If you haven't enjoyed this stream, hit the follow button anyway. Maybe you'll enjoy next week's stream, and I will see you guys for next week's stream. If you're watching this on the rebroadcast on our YouTube channel, then please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe so that you get notifications next time we go live. And in both cases, we now have a stream tip account, so that if... That's my cat asking to come in. I apologise if you can hear that. I'll go and let him in a moment. Yes, if you are enjoying these live streams and the YouTube videos that we're putting on, you can now support Elitopia Gaming by leaving a small tip via streamtip.com/t/elbristow. A link will be in the description, or there is a link on the Twitch channel if you've been watching on twitch.tv. Thank you for watching, everybody. I've been El Bristow. You have been watching Gaming and KSP Live. I will see you next time. See you later.